Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the second video in the double feature series. I just want to point out that this is an awesome skin by AWOL Freedom. It's rust-free skins. You can find them on the forums. And just getting into it here, I'm in my Omaha on New Dawn. Jason Yang is in his New York, and was just trying to help him out get to the New Mexico. This is actually I want to say it was almost 2 weeks ago, but it's a pretty solid match, and between this and the next part of the video, there's about 43 Citadel, so feel free to count them all out. The second video has my new personal record, which is about 10 days ago, I think I had that game. But using the range advantage of this sweet-ass Omaha, God, I love this ship. You know, once you get that 4-point skill with the additional range, it just really opens up a whole another level of ass kickery. I don't know, is that a thing to say? Beats me. But they have a number of their battleships just over top of B here, and I cap C, asked people to turn north and start engaging. Make sure they don't get around our backside here and start engaging our carriers. But and it looks like, actually now looking at it, one of our carriers for some reason is drifting north, but didn't notice that at the time that I was playing. So the Omaha is, I think, one of the best all-around ships in the game. You know, for its tier, it's what it can do is fantastic, and the Furitaka in the upcoming 4.1 patch, I'm guessing, is going to be a hell of a lot better. I don't think anybody should approach that the same way that they have been. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot better, and a lot of people are going to be surprised by that particular ship. But you know, in this instance with the Omaha, I just think it's a great training ship, and it's a great credit earner as well. I mean, there's been a number of times where I've earned close to, you know, 500,000 credits, and that's without the flag, the XP, or not the XP, but the credits flag. You know, you have to perform really well for that to happen, of course, but it's just so good all around that you really get the feel for how to play as a cruiser, and I think this is more indicative of the proper way to play a cruiser is just by playing the Omaha. You just, you know, get a lot of those opportunities to throw those guns around and engage multiple targets. You know, your playing field is almost always changing at this tier, so it's a really good way of developing your senses, the feel for the map, the feel for the opposing team, their you know, the directions they're going, and you know, the stuff that they're trying to pull off. It's just one of those things that I think just really helps you learn how to adapt as a player to an ever-changing situation. The game slows down considerably at higher tier, and so it kind of, if you kind of go back and forth between the Omaha and, say, like North Carolina or something, it's actually sort of difficult, because you know, you want the North Carolina in those matches to go faster because you're used to that with the Omaha, and you know, sometimes it has put me in some positions where I'm not I don't perform so well, and you know, whatever. The North Carolina is definitely coming up soon for I'd say in the next few days or by the weekend. I'll have that video prepped up and ready to go. It's not going to be all that favorable. I'll just say it's not my favorite ship, but that's for a more in-depth video, I believe. Probably end up being like a half-hour video too. But so yeah, back to this match here. Engaging their carriers, because we kind of cut their team in half. You know, that whole push towards the north, we divided them up, and their carriers certainly weren't moving with the team, and this bogue is too slow to move with anybody. So it correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's a top speed of like 16 or 17 knots. I mean, I love shooting these. And the weird thing is too, because of how slow they are, it actually screws up my my lead a little bit more than other ships because I'm used to them moving so much faster. But then you get to the higher tier carriers and they're moving at like 33 knots, and you know, it's hard to lead those at even like 13, 14 kilometers because you're just not expecting them to cover so much ground in the time that you fire. And got a sweet dodge here. Like, yeah, that's no problem. So, doing pretty well this match. Just cleared off the bogue and looking for another target to engage. And I mean, take a look at that radius on the guns there on the minimap. That's a big area to be able to affect. And if you switch over to HE and you know, you're starting to get those little nitpicky shots on the enemy battleships that are further away, and more specifically the ones that are out of range to fire back at you, you know, that's a big part of what you can influence. And I'm sure you just noticed my my issue there. I was shooting AP. I totally forgot to switch, and may have cost that ship his life, but whoops. I swear I didn't mean that to happen. So and while we have a decent lead here, I am just trying to cut back to secure a win. We have the destroyer off to my left that I'm aiming at. There's a Kuma that's just ahead to the right, and also I think it's a New York, that the battleship that's just south of A. So unfortunately we have this destroyer harassing my teammates here, so gotta do something, just barely get those shots over the terrain, and pretty sweet. Now, right after I killed him, I take a look at my surroundings, assess whichever is the bigger threat to who, or you know, like, to me or to my teammates, and obviously the closer one here, the easier one for me to kill is the Kuma, and switch over to AP. And I guess he's lined up initially for the guy that's in the cap next to me. So doesn't really pay attention to me, which is always nice because, you know, and I don't know what the hell that shot was. I think I had a slip of the finger, but I know he's gonna launch torps, and I don't know how that didn't citadel. You can see the impacts right underneath the smokestacks there, but knowing that we have the torpedoes coming, I already have situated myself to make the turn. If it were only this easy with battleships, I'd feel a lot better about my play there, but oh well. And so here's something that bugs me though. There's torps coming off to my right, and I don't know exactly what the other player was thinking here. It's just a poor play. You don't do that. You know, your torpedoes are not insurance, as this person said. You have to let the battle play out, and you have to just not do stupid shit like that. That's how you get turned pink. That's how you end up paying, you know, 50, 70, 100,000, whatever credits for team killing. So it's just a poor play. And again, you never launch torps if there are teammates in front of you. No matter what you think may happen, you have to let it happen before you launch torps, because those are still your responsibility. And you know, if that particular battle had continued to you know, push forward, I likely would have been in much closer to those torpedoes. So luckily that wasn't the case. But just one of those things that's entirely avoidable, and I just wish people wouldn't do stupid crap like that. But so here I'm just whittling away against this this New York, and it's not hard to do this type of stuff. I mean, he has no shot on me. Probably, actually, I wonder if he can even see me if I show up on his screen at all. But the thing is, I personally don't use situational awareness on anything other than destroyers because I think it's a waste of a point. I'd rather put it into things that are far less obvious. Like, if you're a battleship, why the hell do you have that equipped? That doesn't make any sense to me. Of course you're spotted. You know, I mean, the only time it would actually make a difference is if you are in the late game, or if you're off by yourself somewhere. You know, where you need to find out if there's an enemy destroyer next to you, that sort of thing. But still, you have like a 15-kilometer concealment, so there's really no point in using that 1 point towards that. Seems kind of just a waste to me. But anyways, rack up a whole hell of a lot of hits on this guy, a lot of fire damage too. You know, I don't stick to just AP or HE, definitely switch it up quite a bit with this ship and cruisers in general. But shots come in at the end here and somebody else gets him. But really good results, 5 kills, 181 hits. You know, I got the high caliber, 19 citadels, and going to the detail report. There we go. So a lot of good damage there. Some decent fire damage, and mostly AP, though. I was pretty happy with that. So now I'm with a gentleman named Bobby Joe in his Tier 5 Congo, and I'm in the Omaha again. This is big race. I pretty much never engage anyone on the top part of the map. Like where I start here, I almost always go the other way. Hopefully that doesn't get me killed in future matches on this. I'm not trying to give away all my secrets, of course. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, everybody has a playstyle. I think it's pretty easy to pick up on mine. Especially in the cruiser, it tends to be very aggressive, and you know, I'll throw caution to the wind and just throw myself into a fight, and you know, I like scrumming it up. I love brawling, that sort of thing. Sitting back and doing nothing doesn't really appeal to me all that much, like it does apparently most of the player base. But at the same time, I try to make smart decisions. Sometimes that's hard in those situations, but they have very clearly anticipated more of a northern push there, so that's where they're going. That's leaving their whole flank open, and that's fine by me. You want me to, you know, hit your flank and wreak some havoc, I am perfectly fine with that. So there's a destroyer that's beached here. I don't have an explanation for that. I guess he was trying to dodge torps and got torped anyways. They do have a few ships heading back. I am just trying to push the flank here and thin them out a little bit to give our guys on the right side here, the western side, give them a chance, and to put some pressure on their carriers to either start attacking me, which, you know, I have a really good chance of dodging their torpedoes, which again alleviates pressure off of my team's battleships because they're not having to worry about airdrop torps, and see if I can close in and get the kill on them, and just help us out any way I can. But now you can see kind of how like it's like we're closing in and just reducing the amount of area that they can travel. Their room to maneuver is minimal at best. One of the bows gets taken out and switch targets right over to the other one. Now they're starting to figure out that they have to cover this side as well, and you know, if you can induce some panic on the enemy team, it's a really good thing. You get them to make mistakes and expose their citadels to your teammates that, you know, are on your flank, and it's just getting it's all about getting ships to move the way you want them to, even if it ends up killing you in the end. If that puts you in a spot to go ahead and make a difference and have damage done to them, then sweet. And ouch, just getting citadel after citadel here, so I'm sitting on 12 of them so far, and thank you for turning your backside. Appreciate that. Should have been leading him a little bit more, but ended up just taking him out strictly with citadels there. So now I've got a battleship and the Bogue still in range. I am trying to make sure that while those guns are turned away from me on the battleship, that I'm able to take this Bogue out. And see, I'm already trying to turn because I'm just trying to get the kill on the carrier as fast as I can and get the hell out of there, because I don't want those guns to be trained on me, and they're getting close. But nope, he switched targets right at the end there, so set him on fire. Just try to get some shots into his superstructure there. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I was aiming at the Bogue. That was weird. Huh. I'll have to watch that again. But I thought I was targeting the battleship there. Anyways, and those torpedoes, I didn't expect them to hit. It was more of a get away from me type of thing, give me some room. Because when he fires, at this range even, I can still maneuver my ship just enough to point the bow right at him at the incoming shots and either deflect a bunch or dodge most of them. But he's got a whole hell of a lot more torps coming in from, I think those are airdropped, actually, yeah. So it's looking good here. Third kill, and we're in a really good spot. It's 7-3 in favor of us. And if you pay attention to my position and what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to place as many islands between me and the enemy as possible. The obvious reason is that I'm not going to get hit. The other part of it is that it allows me to close the gap, and if it gives me the opportunity to either choose torpedoes if they get too close, or I can whittle them away again with the cannons. And I gotta say, I find the Tenryu a pain in the ass to try to kill, just because it's such a low slung type of ship. I don't seem to have all that much success against them in terms of getting the Citadel, and yeah, there's still an island right there, so that was a pretty good shot. Hopefully none of the natives are too upset by that, but I am looking forward to seeing all the trees and things with patch 4.1, adding a little bit of more graphic fidelity to things. I think it'll help a lot, but hopefully they have a few more tricks up their sleeve, over the coming months to add some more flair to this game. But I don't know. I'm glad that they're taking 4.1 seriously and they're doing a lot of things with it. I would rather have a bunch of the changes made in smaller increments, like quicker increments. But if they want to lump everything together, then take a month or whatever to collect data and then figure out a way to do the next patch, then that's cool, I guess. But when there's a problem that's severely affecting the game and the gameplay, they need to get on it a little bit faster. The whole matchmaker, for instance, I guess I understand why it's taken so long, but it'll just be nice to have that problem solved for everybody. It's not just carrier players. Every team is affected by that, and whether or not you play carriers, it doesn't matter. It's the whole team balance. It's the game balance. So looking at the bigger picture, it's a really important patch. But just about finishing this clip up, and nice, so nice. 24 citadels, a new personal record, so that, just by one, but still, that's a hell of a lot of citadels. You can see my damage counter up there at 120,000. Pretty damn good. Pretty happy with that. So this match is just about over, and I hope this is something that you want to see more of. I like just doing 10 minutes, a couple clips, put them together, make a nice video out of it, give you some perspective on what to do in a particular situation, or how somebody else plays a ship that you may be having trouble with. I watch videos like that too. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you here next time. Take care.